she's performing there. And he said, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean by performing? And she said, well, you remember when your sister used to sing around the house and everything? She says, well, she's a singer. She's really a singer, and she's performing with James Brown. And he was just like, oh my God, he could not believe it.
I step out on faith and I gave my notice. And I'm crying, y'all, because I gave my heart and my soul on that job. Because that was my passion. And sometimes our passion is really not our calling. It's just a passion.
When they say when it rains, it pours. It poured, but I didn't realize that the pour was on purpose. The pour was actually moving stuff out the way, moving people out of my path that didn't belong in my circle anymore.
Jesus loves me. For the Bible tells me so. And he looked at me, he was like, this little girl, how old is she?
He said, this little girl can sing. Look,
This little girl can sing.
Yeah.
Queen, this is your girl, Minister Nikita Davis, the proud CEO and founder of Jesus Coffee and Prayer Christian Publishing House, the #1 Christian publishing house in the land. And I'm excited for another amazing episode of Success Leaves Clues. And I've got my girl, Queen, out here moving and shaking. Charcora Palmer is in the building. How you doing, beautiful?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Nikita?
I am blessed, honey, even now more so because we have you here to grace our global audience. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you for being here with us.
It's an honor to be here with you. Thank you.
Absolutely, Queen. Well, look, I always allow my queens to introduce themselves because the way I feel is nobody can introduce you better than you can introduce you. Okay? So tell the queens a little bit about you, where you're from, what you do, and how you serve women in the community.
Again, my name is Charcora Palmer. I am from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born and raised in Milwaukee with a Southern touch. Okay, what I do is educate queens and kings about their finances and just positioning themselves for better, to be able to operate in the kingdom, operate in your personal life and your business. That's what I do. I bring blessings to the finances in the business, you know, just keep that information flowing on how to manifest your greatness.
Come on, I love it, I love it, I love it. And definitely a time such as this, because you know, we believe, of course, in Christ, and that's our foundation. You were created for a time such as this. It's 2020, and we've dealt with all kind of tomfoolery in 2020, so people need to get their money and their mind right? So talk to us, yeah, go ahead, Queen, tell me.
So you want us to talk about how we do that positioning and why it's important right now.
Yeah.
I want to start off by saying that there is power in the pandemic. It's easy for us to get distracted with everything that's going on. And yes, it's a lot, but there's power in the pandemic. Why? Because it would allow you to be pushed into your destiny, allow you to just tap into what it is for you to do in your life, in the kingdom, and position yourself and kind of realign yourself, you know, financially in order to execute those things you've been called to do.
Absolutely.
So that's exactly what I do, to help people position themselves to be able to gain those finances in order to finance whatever their dream or their purpose is.
No, I love it. Tell the ladies how you got into this. I've talked to some queens that do some financial things as well, and I know everybody's story is different. When did you discover that this was your love, this was your passion, this was your calling? And then what made you take the leap of faith to say, hey, this is what I'm doing?
Well, you know what? My story started because I needed help. And just being transparent, In going through divorce and loss of income, I saw things crumble down in my own life. Credit was ruined because I couldn't pay the bills. And that's my journey started when I had to pick up the pieces for myself. And I became my own testimony. Like, wait a minute. And people would start to ask me questions about credit and different avenues of obtaining finances in life or what have you. I had to build from my story. I had to build from my testimony, and that's when I'm able to share with others. I realized that this is what I was called to do by going through myself.
Come on, that's so good. I was telling another queen, and I'll say the same thing here. It's one thing to have a guru, a leader, or an expert, just as you are, and really all the women. I'm telling you, the women that are watching this are blessed, because when I tell you these women were hand selected and that there were hundreds literally of women that applied and expressed interest, but it was important for me to really pick the best of the best, the go-getters, the glow-getters who were making it happen and not just lip service. And this queen is one of them. That's why she's talking to you. But it's one thing to have a guru or a leader to tell you theories, for them to tell you what they learned in school. It's another thing for it to be a life experience that you actually had to go through, so you can say confidently, boldly, that you walked a mile in your client's shoes, but you came out on the other side clean. And everybody can't say that. Everybody can't do that. Yes, Queen.
And you were talking about what you learned in school. So I want to touch on something else, Queen. I don't even put it out there much, but I have a master's degree in business administration. That master's degree, for me, was not the thing that brought success. It wasn't the thing that brought open doors. It was my test that became my testimony, that just allowed me. And that's another reason why I know that I'm called to do this, because the other way was not working for me. I was going the scripted way and went to school and sacrificed time. And don't get me wrong, it works for some, but when that's not what you're called to, it just does not work in your favor. And for me, I just think that I had to take the hard way around in order to find my purpose. But once I found it, I'll tell anybody that asks, anybody wants the information or how to get back up when things have crumbled down. That's why I give myself freely to others, because there's always someone that is looking for a way out, right? And if you're called to minister to their life, if you're called to be that blessing, and I tell people, while I'm not an ordained minister, my business is my ministry. My business is my ministry, because we find ourselves being poverty minded. We find ourselves being weighted down, with the cares of life. Things happen in life, and sometimes it seems as if there's no way out. I'm that, what you could say, check you coach. I'm that check you coach, because I won't allow, one thing I don't allow any of my clients or anybody just seeking advice to do is to formulate excuses as to why you can't move forward. No excuse is good enough. There are things that happen, yes. And I'm not discrediting things that you may go through, but you don't have to stay there. And most times, it's totally unrelated. Say for me, someone comes to, I want to get my credit together, but I work too much. What that have to do with your credit? It makes no sense. That's an excuse to leave you stuck. So part of the job is first the mindset. Okay, getting us out of this mindset of I can't. You got to believe that you can, and you got to be willing to take those steps to come up out of the mess that you're in.
That's so good, Queen. Mindset is absolutely everything. And these women are hearing from, 27 some leaders from across the world, including yourself. And that's the beginning. If I had to sum it up, that is the first step, because if you say you can, you can. And if you say you can't, you won't. That's period. So removing the excuse in your mind, whether it's good, bad or indifferent is going to be the first step for you to be able to soar and be financially free. Because after all, isn't that what everybody wants? It's not even about being rich per se. You get some that'll say, I want to be rich. And I get it. You know, everybody wants to have money, but it's a peace of mind, right? To know that you don't have to worry about, oh Lord, how are we going to pay the bills or the mortgage, or how are we going to eat, or what about Johnny's school, or to not have to worry about those things. Then you can actually live a life of abundance if you choose, and you can really allocate your mind to being purpose driven, as opposed to just running to a dollar or running to a job, or even in some people's businesses, it's just enough to pay the bills. Who wants to live like that? So what are some of the first steps? I know you talked about mindset. I know you talked about removing excuses. You know, you can't give it to Coach Palmer. Y'all better stop playing. Come on. But what would be some of the first steps you tell your clients? So somebody comes to you and you look at their financial history and it's just a hot mess. What are some of the first things you tell them to do to begin to repair or to begin to live a life on purpose financially?
So the first step after mindset, I would say, is finding a why. Otherwise, none of the other steps that it actually takes to do the repair, or steps that it takes to get the financing, if you're looking for financing for your business or your personal, because we also do that. None of those things are going to matter if you don't have a why in mind. So after the excuses are gone, we're going to get the why. Why do I deserve better? What is it that I really want to do? How is this going to impact my life? How is it going to change my situation? You have to have that why. And after the why is developed, then we get into the steps of, say, credit repair. Now, let's lay everything out. Let me get a clear picture of what we're dealing with, because some may really need repair and some may just need some help in building. It may not be repairing. They may not have a lot on there to repair. So let's take a look at, get a snapshot of exactly what we need to do. And let's come up with our game plan together. And then I'll lay out the steps of, X, Y, and Z. You would need to, we're going to draft letters, we're going to dispute, we're going to add this account, whatever the case may be. And just giving a clear picture of the direction and keeping that why in mind, because that's very important. So that our queens and our kings will take the initiative to follow through the process.
No, that's so good. I love that. So the bottom line is you help them formulate that plan. You help them understand their why, which is so important, anything that you do, because the why is what will keep you. The
That's
why
right.
is what will allow you to thrive when you feel like you want to give up, right? And for many women and men too, but talk to my queens who are listening, 2020, a lot of people wanted to give up. A lot of people maybe felt like they were certain and understood and had job stability, or whatever the case may be, business stability. There are a lot of businesses. I remember just a few weeks ago, my daughter and I, because, we had been eating at home, honey, them first 3 months, honey, we didn't eat nothing outside of the house, okay? Honey, I mean, when I tell you the first 90, we were like, oh, we're going to eat out? It was crazy. We're like, okay. But anyway, I say all that to say we went by one restaurant. Oh, yeah, we're going to eat here, and drove all the way up there, and they were shut down. They had a whole new construction crew, out there. And I was like, what? And I was sad for them. But in that immediate moment, I began to praise God, because I said, Lord, I thank you, because you saw fit that Jesus Coffee and Prayer is still here while other doors are being shut down. You are thriving my business. And I said, I thank you, Lord. I'm praying for them and that they get what they need. But I thank you. It brought gratitude to me, because
Absolutely.
I could have been easily one of the businesses that was no longer in existence just 3 months later. But anywho, so as you're working with your queens and kings and you're getting them where they need to be, what kind of different programs do you have? I know credit restoration, but what other financial options? I think a lot of times folks just think credit restoration, which is great.
Right.
Thumbs up for sure. But what other programs do the people not know about that your team has available?
It's interesting. It started with credit restoration. Okay. But in seeing the needs of the clients through the years, a lot of people may come in with the goal. some with the goal of, a lot of the goal of purchasing a home. So we also offer home mortgages. We also offer unsecured loans for those that want to maybe start a business, maybe want to pay off debt. If you have a home mortgage already, but maybe need down payment assistance and didn't qualify for any of the grants or freezes, get the unsecured loan. So we help our clients to keep the options open, becoming that one-stop financial shop, also offering tax preparation, because that is one of the key things that is needed, and we are certified in all 50 states. So anything that I mentioned, we have clients all over. You know, we meet you where you are. We become that one-stop shop to perhaps if your dream is getting that home or starting your business, to take you all the way through the process, you know, to kind of guide your hand and hold your hand. We even have a program for those that are interested in fix and flips and getting into investment properties. You know, so it just depends what your desires are. We truly are that one-stop shop. And if we don't personally offer the things, we are definitely very well connected to make sure that your services, your needs are met with our partners as well.
I love that, a one-stop shop, because I feel like, I mean, I guess I can only speak for myself because, you know, even though I know financial things, etc., obviously that's not tell my clients all the time, everybody has their genius zone. Stop trying to dabble on somebody else's genius zone, baby. You're not a genius in that area. If that's their thing, their calling, their niche, let them be the genius and you play the sidekick, play your role. That's how you play your position and you allow other people to run and soar in the thing God has gifted them with, just like God has gifted you with the financial arena, and that's a blessing. You mentioned something that I love, and I bring this up to quite a few of the queens. You talked about if we don't have it, then our affiliations, our partnerships, our connections, our collaborations, we've got people that can help you fill in the gaps that maybe we don't specialize in. And I love that. Talk about the power, when we're talking about success leaving clues, talk about the power of forming the right, genuine connections, collaborations, and partnerships, and then how that has blessed you level up in your business. So talk about the importance of that for the queens that are listening as they're doing their businesses and making shifts, and how that has blessed you in your industry.
Absolutely. The power of working together, the power of networking can do nothing but bless your business. You mentioned, Queen, you can't do it all. You mentioned also that you're not the specialist in it all. And I get that. And I'm one of those, like, I may have someone that may ask me about life insurance. While it's important, that's not my call. So I partnered with life insurance agents and things of that nature. That's what you have to do. You have to be willing to share and outsource and work together. You know, because it's going to do your business a disservice if you do not. How has it been a blessing to my business is in partnering, let's say that it's shared amongst us. So while I refer clients, that partner also refers clients for the needs that they come across with their clients, you know, and being that most of what we do is nationwide, I have partners all across the nation versus just focusing on my area. In Milwaukee is where I am. So I have had to, you know, branch out and develop partners in many other states and many other cities in order to meet the needs of the clients that are there, right? So it kind of streamlines the process, and it makes the success of all of our businesses. It's not taking away from each other. It's actually adding to, you know, your success as well as all the partners' successes as well. So just keep in mind, you know, like you said, success leaves clues. That is one clue. If I could give anything and share any information, is the power of networking is going to bless your business.
Period. And I feel like you know, I don't know where the stigma comes from, especially for women. And I'll just have to be honest. I know we've got women from all different races and all over the world. I know for the African American community, for women, it has been some of my personal experience in the corporate sector, working the corporate career for 15 years, you know, where sometimes it can feel like this catty thing. And I'm not sure why is that when we all want to win and we all can eat and we all can partner to bless each other. So it's up to us individually to do our part to break the mold in that and to show the world that we do get along, we do work together, we can do something great. If Christ is at our foundation and we're partnering, connecting, and collaborating, only greatness can come from that. And like you said, that's a feather to your cap. People don't understand that. You say this all the time in corporate. That, honey, I'm not, it needs to be a feather to my cap. There's no feather to my cap if you don't win, if you don't succeed. You should not connect with me as a human being, as an entrepreneur, and not have some level of development, growth, inspiration. Like you should not leave me void. It should be impossible for people to leave your presence void. Some things should be elevated because they were in the room with you. Yes. And by partnering with the right people, I say it right, the right people where it's mutually beneficial, you can't do anything but win. And that's beautiful that you have that mindset. And it's obvious. That's why you've seen so many successes. I will do a little toot beep beep. I believe I ran across something where you were recently put in some publication, or please share some of those wins that you've recently had. I know I saw something because I do keep tabs on my queens to see how they're glowing. Yes.
You did, Nikita. Recently in Black News, there was a publication and there was also a press release. So there were other publications, you know, throughout the nation that picked it up. But I did not know that it also was going international. So it was featured in Dutchess International Magazine. It was featured on Suwedi.com. That's another publication in Africa. So we have Rwanda, Nigeria, the UK. God is just blessing and expanding.
Come on.
It's nothing that I did. I knew about Black News, but I didn't know about the rest of it. You know what I mean? Those things just came.
That's so good.
It's been a blessing, and I'm very humble about. But God knows what He's doing. You know?
Yes, He does. Because, you know, like I just want to say this, and I don't want to interrupt you, but you said earlier, you don't have to be an ordained minister. We're all called in the body of Christ to evangelize and really just to be a living witness. Quite frankly, I don't care what you say, your life should be a living testimony to the goodness of God and what He's doing, whether that's in your family life, your financial, your business, or whatever the case may be. And He's obviously for you, and He will make you ruler of many, right? He stretches your dominion. You know, it talks about the word talks about everywhere you place your foot, you know, you're gonna be blessed. But here's the beautiful thing in the God that we serve, when He says that we're gonna do even greater things than He. These are places your feet have not physically touched yet.
Never been.
Come on. Queen, I'm a living witness, and I know you. Not yet. Oh, we on the way. Come on, just slow down, pipe down, COVID. But we on the way, Jesus. But it's beautiful to know that your feet haven't physically touched yet. He's giving you a platform and a blueprint, like you said, in Uganda and other places in Africa, in the UK, and all these other things. And I'm a living witness to that as well. And so that's just the goodness of God. When you continue to march forward with the marching orders He's giving you, and you're being faithful in the obedience, when He told you to make these moves that bless these people financially, then you did it. And you had no excuses. And that's why He's blessing you, and He's taking you places your feet haven't even touched. That's the type of God we serve. I'm just trying to tell y'all, get your life right. Get your life right. Because I've been living witness to that, and I love to see my queen just glow up and blow up and do the same thing. So that's fantastic. So look, Queen, talk to them about where you can. I've talked to some queens and they can't share contracts and all that other jazzy women, you know, but any upcoming projects, you know, in late November, December, or as you roll into January that you can talk about right now?
Yes, actually, we look for a couple of books. I'll leave it at that. I'll be featured in some and writing some. some books before the beginning of the year. And also, you may also see some more interviews and some more, just more educational platforms, some courses that I'm going to be developing, as well as the how-to courses on building businesses and building credit. So that some people are just do-it-yourself people. So let's give them courses in order to be able to handle it on their own. So yeah, we got a lot of good stuff and more to come. I'm excited about, just the present and what is to come. I really am, Nikita, because, when you've seen it for a long time and now you can taste it, it's on. This season is a blessing. This season is it has even caused me to reconnect with myself and my purpose. Okay, sit down long enough to listen, sit down long enough to execute, because sometimes we get so busy in day-to-day life that we forget about what it is we're really called to do. We forget about what really is our purpose and how to get there, maneuvering, and things of that nature. But I'll tell you, this season has really not just opened doors. Doors are being opened because I took time to listen and take time to not only listen, but to do what I am called to do.
That is so good, Queen. I feel like there's two people being birthed from this season. Either you are fortified now more than ever before, and you're affirmed, and you're ready to go, you're ready to glow, you're ready to walk out your purpose and your calling, and you're doing it, but you're doing it at an exponential clip. I was explaining this to another Queen potential client. I'm like, what God is doing, he's moving at an exponential clip. Remember in school and math, you got 4 + 4 = 8. But then when you got the 4 squared, it was still 2 4s on the paper, but it was a 4. Now a little bitty 4 at the top. Now that 4 and 4 = 16. And see, so it's good if you go 4 + 4, but it's even better if you go 4 squared because it's 16. Understand, pick up what I'm putting down, Queens. What I'm trying to say is in this season, God is moving in a quantum position. He is quantum leaping. You ever heard leapfrog? Yes. People are leapfrogging. Queens are leapfrogging. There will be millionaires, billionaires who are birthed from this season. If you don't believe me, ask the folks from the Spanish flu. 1920s. There's studies to show that, but it all starts with what this queen said in the beginning, in the mind. Where's your mind? Is this a time of excuse? Because for some people, and it's funny, I joke with my husband, the old school used to say, you can't, what was it? Oh Lord, I can't even get it out. Help me, Jesus. But a spade, no, a spade, right? Right. And what that means for my queens who may not know out overseas or maybe not from the South or what have you, but that simply means, some people have used this time as a crutch. They really weren't going to birth that business anyway. They weren't going to write that book anyway. They weren't going to get their finances in order anyway. But now with COVID-19, this is a great scapegoat. Well, because XYZ ... Well, in their heart, God knows their heart. In their heart, they never really made plans to make a move anyway. So this was a great scapegoat. Now, it doesn't behoove them because they're still the one that's sitting on the book, the business, the financial freedom, the home of their dreams, the legacy, and all of those things. But they feel good on the inside because they were able to use this time as an excuse. But for those who know they were made for more, they were designed for greater, they were designed to make an impact in the earth that would reverberate the land, they're using this time as a catalyst to soar, right? Just like this queen, just like myself, the other queens that are connected with this, using this time, just like you, queen, who's listening to this, whether live on the replay, use this time as your catalyst. Use this time as your launching pad. I want you to leapfrog over puddles. You understand what I'm saying? In this season, and you can do that, you understand, but you got to get connected to the source. You have to link up and lock arms with like-hearted women, just like this queen right here. If you need help with your finances, hello, come on. She's all over, global, international, all over the US, and has told you she has partners. So what's the excuse? But you. She's got various plans, affordable plans. I'm quite sure if you talk with her and let her know what it really is, she will find the right plan or platform to suit your needs and at least get you on the right plan, the right path, right? So, you know, sometimes I feel like people are afraid to start small because they don't want to be seen as small. Every expert was once a beginner. Before she became this guru in finances and all over the US and all over the country and international, before she had the business master's degree, guess what? She was new, a novice. Before I became the publisher of Purpose and all these best-selling books and international, honey, it started with one book and it was mine. You understand what I'm saying? And so I just want to encourage you in this season that don't be afraid of small beginnings. Don't despise humble beginnings. You got to start somewhere. This is the perfect time to realign, reboot, refocus, and go out here and smash every goal and obtain every promise that God said you were going to obtain before you were even put in your mother's womb. So I didn't even mean to go off the Richter like that, but when I feel it, honey, I got to say what I got to say because I need them to understand this. You understand, Queen?
It's necessary. It's necessary.
Necessary. You know? That's a good word.
Target focused, you know, on what it is and just execute. That's it.
That's it. So as we wrap it up, Queen, tell them exactly how they can connect with you. What's the website? If they want to follow you on social media, how can they get more of you? Because I know they want it after hearing this.
All right, absolutely, Queen. So the website is totalpowerfinancial.com. Again, that's totalpowerfinancial.com. On social media, it's also Total Power Financial. On Instagram, Total Power Financial. On Facebook. And on Facebook, Charcora Palmer, CharCoraPalmer, the Catalyst to Vision. So I definitely look forward to connecting with anybody and that just wants more. Bottom line, that just wants more, and you just need somebody to maybe guide you in more, because it's possible, Queen. Believe in yourself, and I'm here for you to support you in that vision.
I love it, Queen. I hope y'all picked up that little side clue, right? Because it's about success leaves clues. I'm going to just call it out. Queens, did you hear how she gave you clearly and concisely her website, which happened to match her Facebook and her Instagram and all of her handles and things? So I just want to give you that little sidebar clip, as many of the women here are entrepreneurs. They aspire to be. I don't care if you're an authorpreneur, maybe you don't have a brick and mortar business, but you're selling your books and you're building your book business. Let's link it up. Make it simple for your customer. I'm gonna just throw in that sidebar for them to find you. You don't want it difficult to where when Facebook is here, Instagram is here, TikTok is that, and this, that, that. It makes it very difficult and it confuses your customer. And if your customer is confused people don't purchase. So whatever you selling, because we all selling something, I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're a coach or consultant, it's not a product. You're not, it's not a tangible product, it's a service. Then you want to make it clear and concise. And that's exactly what she and her team has done. So it makes it easy for you to find her, to connect with her, and to glow with her. Okay. So pick up that clue, Queen. Well, Queen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. I already have my wheels turning on some future things to come to pass, because I love your energy, your authenticity, your willingness to be vulnerable and to give it to them like it is, the way that it actually is. Okay, you got to do it that way, because it's the only way to understand. Come on, Queen.
It's going to happen if you keep it real with where you are and where you really want to go.
That's it.
That's the only way that it's going to happen, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, look, if you want to know how it can happen for you, reach out to this Queen. Not right now, but right now. Her information is below as well, just in case you didn't have pen and paper. So make sure you connect with her, get on her, book a consultation and get with her so she can help get you in the game. Well, look, Queens, this is your girl, Minister Nikita Davis, the proud CEO and founder of Jesus Coffee and Prayer Christian Publishing House, the #1 Christian publishing house in the land. And you have just witnessed another amazing episode of Success Leaves Clues, because after all, success leaves clues. I love y'all. Until I see you next time, have a blessed day or night. Bye.
Bye.
bring the bump.